I'm very happy today to be talking to Ross Bateson, who's the Senior Regulatory Advisor for GSMA. Could you just tell us, first of all, what is GSMA?
So our job really is to ensure that that mobile services, both voice, mobile broadband and the whole range of mobile services are available as readily as possible to as many people as possible.
And GSM is a standard, is it? What is GSM?
So GSM is what the general public would know as the ordinary voice technology to talk on their mobile phones. What we in the industry would call 2G, and we've moved on from that to newer technologies and newer services, but the GSM name continues.
Okay, so one of the issues you're dealing with here in the CIS countries or CIS region is this digital dividend that you're getting up from a freeing up of spectrum after the conversion from analog to digital. Could you just tell us how this issue is being dealt with?
Okay, sure. So talking about the move from just offering ordinary voice services to offering more exciting services such as mobile broadband and the mobile internet. That has a heavy demand on the airwaves that we use. So there is a spectrum, radio spectrum need that's greatly increased when we move from offering simple voice to offering mobile broadband. Now, at various times, governments have come together to find new frequencies, new spectrum in order to allow us to offer these services. Generally, these are at higher frequencies than the voice frequencies that we already have, which is all well and good, but as you know from radio, long-wave radio transmits a lot further than shortwave. And so higher frequencies are very good for covering urban areas, but the simple fact is that from the base station, the signal doesn't reach all that far. Now, what we're here to do is try to ensure that we get lower frequency spectrum assigned so that we can cover rural areas with fewer base stations and fewer transmitters. Obviously, spectrum at lower frequencies is extremely tight because it's got these great characteristics. Luckily, as a result of the switch from analog TV to digital TV is a lot more efficient and uses about a quarter of the same spectrum that analog TV did to offer the same channels. That means that using the same bit of spectrum, that broadcasters can offer four times as many or more channels. Now, what governments are starting to come to the agreement on is that instead of just using that whole chunk for endless TV, they can put a small portion of it, about the top quarter, to offering mobile broadband services.
So what does it mean for consumers? What sort of apparatus, what sort of mobile phones will they now be able to use, and what sort of services will they now get?
Okay. Well, I think the important consumer experience is being able to access all the services that people are used to getting in the middle of cities anywhere they want. People have got very used to being able to use their mobile phones to speak with anywhere in the countryside, in urban areas or whatever. Over the last 4 or 5 years, the rollout of smartphones, iPhones, Blackberries, what have you, has meant that people have got very used to accessing email on their phones, accessing the internet on their phones, downloading photos from Facebook or whatever. But that's generally been a service that's only been available through the networks in urban areas where there's lots of people, and the high capacity networks can offer these services. What the digital dividend will do is allow these services to be accessed absolutely everywhere, in rural areas, connecting people in small villages who don't have access to the internet through other means. And this will mean that this new range of high bandwidth broadband services is available ubiquitously, and that's a very important thing. It's important for economic development. A lot of countries at the moment are obviously focusing on rolling out broadband everywhere in order to boost flagging economies in this time of economic hardship. And the digital dividend will allow much better coverage and connect much more people than is currently possible. The role that GSMA plays is plays a very large role in trying to harmonise the use of radio frequencies internationally. This has a very direct effect on how much equipment costs. Simply put, if you and I can buy a phone in the UK, spectrum is harmonized internationally. It means that you and I can buy the same phone in the UK as our counterparts in Germany can, as our counterparts in Nigeria can, in Russia. This means that the likes of the equipment manufacturers can mass produce handsets and indeed network equipment on a much, much bigger scale than before. It's a very basic industry, economic fact that creating these economies of scale lowers cost.